Hey guys, welcome back to the BMG Loft, and today I want to talk about one of my favorite pieces of gear, and I think it's the best DI made, especially for bass, but it has several functions, and I'm going to show it real quick. Get it in the camera shot here. This is the Con VTDI, vacuum tube DI, and Obeid Con designed this, and it's based off the Ampeg SVTDI, which he was the head designer of that entire circuit. And what he did was, after he left Ampeg, from what I understand, he had liberty to build whatever he wanted since he was going to do his own company. So without the restrictions of being an employee of a company, he got to make it exactly how he wanted with no cost restrictions or anything like that. So he took the Ampeg circuit that he designed and took it even a step further and improved it and turned it into what he thinks is the best end product. And I'm here to say that this thing's just, I use it every day and I absolutely love it, and I'm about to show you why. The features on this one are pretty much the same, except there's a few things that changed. He eliminated some things, and he, I think, upgraded the transformer and redid some other things in the circuit. I'm not sure exactly everything that he tweaked on it. I know that he got rid of some of the switches, and in fact, I'll pull up on the screen here. This is the original one that he designed, and let's see if we can make it bigger so I can see. I'm trying to remember because I know there was like a you could bypass the tube if you wanted to, and from what I've read, people had phase issues. It could create phase issues for whatever reason in the circuit, so he eliminated that. And on the through, it's always going to be tube processed, which I would prefer. So if you're running this to your solid state amp, or you're running this DI and you have a solid state amp that you're miking or for monitoring purpose or whatever, when you send this to the amp, it will send a tube processed signal to that amp. And I know that changed, and there may have been, because there's more buttons on this one, but this has the ground lift, it has the same 6 dB pad, and it has the tube process through, and then just, your XLR out, and then your input, and that's really, that's it. But everything in the inside is what really matters on this, and the sound's absolutely incredible. And plus, there weren't a ton. There's like 800 something of the original Ampegs made, so they're hard to come by, and it has kind of like a cult following, and there's good reason why. So I'm going to play a little bit on my Sadowski using a very popular DI for bass players. I'm not going to name names because it is a great DI, and I'm not trying to run anybody down because it's a great DI, and it's still, I have a stereo pair that they still get used, and it's a great DI, and it's a very common bass DI. And we're just going to run this straight into the UAD. We're going mic level, just like you would out of a DI. And I've got it here on channel 1 here that you'll be able to see it on the screen. There's no EQ or compression or anything like that. There's no amps or any of the console modelings and preamp modelings. There's none of that. We're just going straight in. And I'm going to play a little bit through this other DI that I've had for a long time that's very common, and it's still a great DI, but we're just going to compare here. So, let's see if we got some sound going. Wait, hang on, let me make sure help if I get it in the right spot. So this is the first DI. And as you can hear, Sounds like a DI. It's a good, clean signal. Get that. And it serves its purpose. There's no issues with that. Set this down. All right, now we're going to go straight into the con. Nothing different. We're just sending it straight out. And I do have the pad engaged because since this is an active bass, it already has a pretty hot signal. So this thing has such a high headroom circuit to it that, I mean, you can hit it really hard right out of the hole, especially if you have a pretty hot active bass. So let's do a little bit of the same here on this one, and I'll go ahead and mute this vocal mic so we don't have a bunch of string noise. Just listen to the richness of it. It's I know there's a huge volume difference, which that can fool your ear too, but you can still hear the other DIs very clean, very transparent. But with the bass, especially if you got a really heavy mix going on, having that mid-range that isn't muddy, but it just adds that cut into your track and still takes a little bit of that bite and edge on it, especially if you're getting really aggressive, and smoothing out that transient with the tube and the circuit. And the transformer sounds really good on this too, because a lot of people don't understand that the transformer has a very unique sound on whatever you're sending out of it. And he spent a lot of time designing this transformer, and it's really I can't say enough about this unit. I don't have any endorsement or anything. It's just I just heard a few guys playing these in town, and I was like, man, this thing sounds incredible. And I had to get one, so I found one, bought one, and it's just, I use it every single day. It's absolutely awesome. I mean, from the highest note down to the lowest note, it's just full and rich. I mean, listen to that B. Just every note's just nice, full, and rich, and warm. And I even have the tone control all the way up, and it takes out a lot of, if you've got a lot of clankiness to the frets, if it's a little bit too bright, it just takes that edge off. And I can't say enough about this DI. I've used it on other sources that needed warmed up, and especially if you're in a situation where you can't track a good amp sound or something, just run an extra, or even if you do and it's a situation that you can't control and you're just not getting a good sound, if you have this, run the electric guitar through it that you're having issues with the amp with, and reamp it later. And tracking the DI through this, it gives it such a nice, again, warm, almost three-dimensional kind of sound. And this thing gets used every day, and I can't say enough about it. I hope Obeid designs a lot more stuff. I know he has a vacuum tube mic pre that I'm definitely interested in trying out as well, and hopefully I'll get to try one of those soon. And check him out. I think it's khanaudio.com. That's KHAN audio.com, and you can check out more about these products. And hopefully you guys got something from this. And until next time, guys, keep it grooving.